Many in the press once lauded Elizabeth Ann Holmes as the world's youngest female billionaire. She is now on trial. Welcome back to our channel Front Seat Finance, and today we're going to discuss the rise and fall of Elizabeth Holmes. The former Silicon Valley darling is charged with a dozen counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud for allegedly making false statements to investors and patients about her company's technology. Unfortunately, her story makes it more difficult for female entrepreneurs to raise capital these days. The Holmes case is enthralling. She dropped out of Stanford University to launch her own blood testing company, Theranos. Holmes quickly raised billions of dollars from investors through private placements, which are securities offerings that are not required to be registered with the SEC and are not subject to broad disclosure requirements such as audited financial statements. Individual and institutional investors who were sophisticated and accredited made up the investor groups. Many people bought what she was selling. Theranos became a member of the prestigious Unicorn Club as a result of the large sums of capital raised by Holmes from these investors. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know that a unicorn is privately held startup with a valuation of more than $1 billion. Holmes was indeed living in the fast lane. She appeared on magazine covers, while Theranos benefited from an all-star board of directors, including an all-star medical advisory board. So, what exactly happened? When the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC charged Holmes with massive fraud, the Theranos funding bubble burst. Was she able to deceive patients, doctors, investors, journalists, White House officials, military generals, and employees? Or is it just another startup that faked it until it couldn't anymore? One thing is certain, the trial will be fascinating, particularly since Holmes has recently given birth and joined the ranks of motherhood. As a woman and mother, I can imagine how difficult this must be. Some critics believe the birth was planned as part of her ongoing publicly circus sideshow. It's possible, or it's just bad timing, I suppose. In any case, the real issue in my opinion is that this is part of a much larger problem that we are witnessing. Unfortunately, Holmes is not the only unicorn founder who has received a lot of negative press attention recently for breaking the law. The CEOs of WeWork, Uber, negative 1.1%, and Zenefits have all resigned in recent years due to various allegations ranging from mismanagement to fraud. Perhaps it is time to consider culture. Is greed a good thing? Executives of private companies are not exempt from federal securities laws, but who are we attempting to safeguard? I wouldn't be surprised if Theranos' wealthy and sophisticated investors signed big boy letters, agreements between parties to a securities transaction. They are used when the seller has material, non-public information that it does not want to disclose. But both parties are aware and want to complete the transaction while precluding any claims based on non-disclosure. The buyer is effectively waiving all claims against the seller based on the non-disclosure. What about the customers who did not purchase directly from the company? There are indirect investors who made their investment through a fund intermediary that holds security in late-stage private companies. These investors have no direct holdings in the private company, have no dealings with the private company or its officers, and have not relied on any false statements made by the private user. Is everything in the stock market a scam? What about a private company's consumer advertising campaigns or publicizing the success of its products and operations in order to increase its private valuation? Not to mention all of the patients who rely on the company's blood tests. This is not the case. Let us dream big. Yes, let us consider policy. At the same time that companies continue to remain private for longer periods of time and raise more capital in private markets, our regulators are under pressure to democratize and equalize access to private markets. Various members of the finance, business, law, accounting, and other communities are concerned that ordinary retail investors are missing out on investment opportunities as the number of publicly traded firms declines, the volume of initial public offerings declines, more money is raised in private markets than in public markets, and the number of unicorns rises. Is it unfair that only institutional investors and high-net-worth individuals have access to and benefit from private marketers? Should the status quo be altered? There are no easy answers here. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. What do you think about Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes? Let us know in the comments. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you in the next video.